Welcome back, everybody, to Let's Talk About Sleep. I took a week off previously, so hope everybody had a good Easter and whatnot. So we're going to be talking today about a continuation, I should say, of what we were talking about last time, which was Xanax and Klonopin. This time we're going to just kind of round out the rest of the benzodiazepines, as they are called, which includes Ativan and Halcyon and temazepam or Restoril. Okay, so that's what we're going to be talking about today. As I always say, where is it? Here's my book. The Amazon link to that is in the description box down below, as my phone just fell to the ground. And as I always say, these videos are for education only. So if you have any questions, though, speaking of education, if you have any questions that you'd like me to tackle, please just drop them in the comment section down below on this or any topic. Once a month, I do a video or videos answering everybody's questions. So this week it's going to be, or this month I should say, it's going to be probably 2 or maybe even 3 videos because there's been a lot of questions. So good job, everybody. Keep them coming, and we want this to be kind of a community. So answer each other's questions and do all that. So the other benzodiazepines, as they relate to sleep disorders, as I said, are Ativan, Halcyon, and Restoril or temazepam. And they're interesting insofar as 2 of them are actually approved by the FDA for sleep disorders. That's Halcyon and Restoril. Okay, and they have the reason why they're used in the sleep world and why they're approved is because they're actually shorter acting. Okay, so not as short acting as Xanax, if you remember from my video last time, but they kind of act quickly and they're out of the system quickly, which is good when it comes to using them for a sleep disorder because you don't want to feel hungover the next day or drowsy the next day. Okay, but as I always say, as with Xanax as well, you got to be careful with medications that kind of act quickly and are gone quickly because there is a risk for dependence. Okay. Now, these medicines, they've been around for a long time, and they do work, right? They do the job they're supposed to do, which is to relax the brain, ideally deal with anxiety, right, and help the person to sleep better. They're not sleep aids, in essence, but they do help the mind relax, and that can help to induce sleep, especially if somebody's anxious. Ativan is a little bit longer acting. The half-life of that is 10 to 20 hours, depending on what you read. So it's like Klonopin insofar it's going to stay in the system a little bit longer. So those are medications which are better suited for problems that are happening throughout the night. So, for example, we may use them in conditions where people are kicking their legs, like periodic leg movements of sleep, which is a cousin to restless leg syndrome. Okay. Or if somebody, let's say, I would never use these in somebody who has untreated sleep apnea, but let's say somebody does have sleep apnea and they're on CPAP, but they just can't tolerate it, or they have trouble leaving it on throughout the night. In those cases, and medications like these might be helpful, right? Especially if somebody's claustrophobic or uncomfortable, these medicines may help them actually keep the mask on throughout the night. So again, these are things to, I don't want to harp on these medicines, but they're out there, they do work, but you got to be careful with them, right? You really have to be careful with them. I have patients who have been on these medicines for decades, right? So again, you got the risk of dependence, right? You got the risk of making things like sleep apnea worse. You got the risk of memory, right? These things can affect memory down the road. Okay, so you got to be careful with them, and as my job as a doctor, it's got to be weigh the use of these medications versus the person not sleeping at all, and the long-term possible adverse effects. So got to take all this stuff into consideration. If somebody was coming to me and they never had tried any medication before, probably these would not be the things that I start with. Okay, so take that for what it's worth. So that's the quick video for today. Please, I want to drum up discussion on these medicines or others, so feel free to ask questions or comments. Be respectful though. Okay. And please share this with your friends and family. Please click like, Please subscribe. As we get to 1,000 subscribers, one person at random will get a signed copy of my book. Here it is again, just for good measure. So that's the video for today, and until next time, everybody, sleep well.